Where to begin? Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel, and hello if you're new. My name is Andrea Johnson. I am your mystical muse, your manifestation mind, and today I'm just really coming at you with a heart-to-heart because the energy has been intense, guys. I am honestly coming into a new creation, realization, era in my life. It feels like the energy has definitely shifted for me, and we are in Leo season as today is August 1st, and I am making this video over what I feel like the collective needs right now and just over doing some of the healing work myself. And I wanted to share with you guys some realizations that I've been having that I really feel like can help other people. I'm gonna call them temple talks. And this is more of me just coming at you more on a diary. I don't know if to call it healing or just becoming. I have been diving really deep into spirituality again, sitting with myself. I've sat with my energy for a while now, but only recently have I been really sitting with myself and facing some pretty uncomfortable crap. Let's dive into the video. What I want to talk to you guys about, some realizations that I've had over just happiness in general and self-confidence or worth, really analyzing my own thoughts and choices and why it is that I do what I do. And a lot of this had to kick off with the uncomfortableness that I felt in my own life, just how any kind of healing really does kick off is with ourselves. There's something we're telling ourselves is wrong. This whole divorce, being single, all this stuff, the identity falling away of myself being this energy worker, master teacher, it really had me questioning what I was doing, why I was doing the things that I was doing, why I felt that I needed to be doing or being certain things for people. And there just comes a point in your life of, it's kind of just like, are you just on autopilot doing the things you should be doing that you think will bring you happiness, or what truly is driving? You know, is it from a soul-led effort or a higher calling other than yourself, or is it ego-based? And that is kind of the question I've been asking myself, and what truly brings in happiness. I did a post over a Harvard study on happiness, and it was based on the book, like What Makes a Good Life or something like that. And it said the number one thing that determines the success and happiness in a human's life is the extent of their relationships, human connection, essentially. And we are beings that desire connection. You cannot deny that. We are emotional beings. We connect on energetic levels with emotions. We are driven by emotion. So it only makes sense that our human connections are the things that really make us fulfilled in life. And when you think about the things that you do in life, guys, you have to think of what truly makes you feel fulfilled. Whenever you're just acting out of a sense of ego, at least for myself, I have come to find that the happiness is fleeting. There is a constant roller coaster of up and down, and not to say that you don't get dopamine hits. By all means, I love me some dopamine hits in my life, and not everything that you're gonna be required to do or have to do, or even think that you want to do is gonna be soul-led at the time. It will always be ever-changing, but I think the lasting things, and they say this is led from the heart, it's the soul. And if you look at those things, that why it is you do what you do, and even if it doesn't make sense of why you do what you do, a human comes to, I say, the finding or the understanding that they feel fulfillment when they feel something is beyond themselves, like they are part of something beyond themselves. They're doing something for the greater good. And so that had me really realizing, what is the greater good? What is the human collective need? What do they want? Like what is my part in that? Well, I used to think that it was energy work. It was supposed to be bringing people to enlightenment. It was like all these things. And honestly, recently, guys, it's felt very hard, you know, very treacherous. And it's not to say that it's not for me. It's just my mindset shift around it and the energy around it. And you know, there might have to be some other steps that I have to take before getting to shift to a higher level of perspective, that I put so much of my sense of self-worth, or that I think I should be doing these things, to help the collective, I feel a sense of obligation, and it really takes away from the joy and the happiness that it used to bring me at one point, where then I started taking on a lot of people's problems. I started taking on all of these things, trying to be something for people. And it kind of made me take a step back of like, I wasn't choosing myself. I wasn't choosing my soul. Even though my soul felt called to serve the collective in that way, the which way in which my mind was going about it wasn't correct. I had to be, this teacher or this energy worker. That was my idea, my storyline, that's what the highest looked like for me. And that's not true. That's just a storyline, and it was causing a lot of discomfort because it really wasn't truly where I was finding happiness and choosing myself. And honestly, I don't even really fully know what that looks like anymore with my whole world falling apart. So I guess you can say that it's really making me come home to myself and really analyzing, why am I doing what I'm doing? And that's kind of what I want to share with you guys is, if you're struggling to find your purpose or happiness in that sense, one, know that your purpose will always be ever changing, and two, happiness is fleeting. It is dopamine hits. It's a state of being that you have to cultivate within yourself. So don't judge yourself too harshly if you're not finding happiness. I found that when I realized things weren't bringing me happiness anymore, it's kind of that calling to evolve it, to maybe learn and change what you're doing, or the mindset shift. It was really coming down to, what does it look like in choosing myself, and what does true happiness really look like for me? And we can assign all the logic and reason behind actions that we do, or the storyline. You guys can insert whatever you feel like your purpose is, and maybe you have several that you feel like is your purpose, but maybe you're not finding happiness in it anymore. You're struggling with your own happiness. It's kind of like, I see one path of the energy work and another path of like this corporate, manager and very successful. And honestly, I started to really think about it, like, which path do I need to be on? And, right now I'm kind of on both. And I think a lot of people struggle with this, with just stepping into what they want to do full time, or tell themselves that, if I am this thing full time, it'll bring me a level of happiness. And what I've come to find and analyze, guys, is that it is truly not the thing that is bringing you happiness. Yes, it is a state of being and the allowing of love to come through. And it's not to say, like, if you let go of one timeline and fully step into another, that truly anything is really going to change your happiness wise. You'll probably end up finding you'll be more frustrated, because ultimately it's you that has to change on the inside before the external can change. So what I'm going to say, or what I've come to find, is that it didn't matter, like, whichever choice that I was going to make with, not to say that I was going to leave my job. I love my job. It's to say that it was me. It's me that has to come into the realization that whichever route that I take, I would always end up at the same block. I was always going to end up at the same block to take the next steps, because it came with a level of confidence that I wasn't embodying, and confidence or fear that I had around taking the next steps around the unknown, of the self-discipline that it would take to actually achieve said things. The not knowing the steps forward, the level of fear around it. There's both of that in the route of the energy work and the route of my 9 to 5. So either way, there is a level of hard that's associated with it. So it was truly me on the inside that has to come to the realization that I am the one that needs to level up and build myself, build my confidence, my self-worth. And that in itself is me choosing me. Me building myself up and doing hard shit is choosing me at the end of the day. And choosing yourself can look so different for everybody, And not to even just say in your purpose or in your job, choosing yourself, but just in your life. Like, are you choosing yourself in your relationships? Are you choosing yourself in your daily actions, your habits? It's part of self-love. I've started to ask myself, before actions, is this in alignment with who I want to be? Is this in alignment with self-love? If I do this thing, am I loving myself? And if it's not, then you don't do it. You realize that the act of self-discipline, self-love is habitual. It's habits. you know, in alignment with what you're telling yourself love looks like for you. Same with your relationships, guys. You know, is this person adding value to me? Is this person, you know, choosing me and investing in me as well too? Do I feel like, you know, the level of energy I put out is being reciprocated back to me? You know, and if not, you draw levels of boundaries. Surround yourself with people that build you up and add to you, add to your value and your happiness. So that's kind of where I am coming into the realization of what truly is happiness, guys, and following the feeling behind the action. And most of the time we unconsciously just do what society tells us we need to do, what we're programmed to do, and it doesn't always feel good. Now, don't get me wrong, like there is a level of hardness that comes with it, just like I was telling you of how I recognized that, you know, truly it wasn't the path that I was on that was wrong. You know, no path is wrong ultimately. It's the storyline you're telling yourself and the blocks around that. You're gonna find another block. Either way, if you choose a different path, you're always going to hit the same blocks that you were meant to overcome. So it's not necessarily the thing that's the issue. It's what is preventing you from moving forward that you have to tell yourself, and then you can still feel that level of fulfillment in the action that you're doing, because most of the time that action is probably providing value for somebody, especially if it's around a level of work or, you know, something of that nature, that you have to get into alignment with the higher reason of why you do what you do, right? What can kind of like build us up is what I've come to find is inspiration, is following inspiration. And that's where, you know, I've come up with the mystical muse, or the muse comes in, because I have very early on in kind of like my separation journey, you know, when I first moved out, that was one of the messages that I got. And honestly, it was follow inspiration. And a long time ago, Spirit even told me, I mean, years ago, when I was trying to find my purpose, essentially, Spirit was like, your gift is inspiration. And I was like, what am I supposed to do with inspiration? Like, why can't I be like this great psychic healer, or, you know, see the future? And I'm like, that would be so cool. You know, what the frick is inspiration gonna do for me? And it's one of the most powerful things I've come to find, because inspiration is in spirit. It is the creative energy that manifests worlds, that manifests abundance, that is passion, purpose. It is that, and it inspires other people to live out their purpose as well too. And it's not really even anything that you have to do. It's a being. It's a state of being. It's almost like this allowing of energy to come through you is what I've come to find. I don't really have to do anything other than really it's like a switch you turn on. I would just rather keep it on most of the time, but it's not always possible with the world and the happenings around us. So what I've come to find, guys, is that following inspiration and finding muses in your life can really be powerful, and we serve as muses for each other. It's not just, you know, you find these people with the embodiment of this energy, you know, it's energy to get you to move forward, right? It pulls you forward. That's what inspiration is. It's moving in spirit. And I can even see this in the workplace, guys, of like even in our relationships with men and women in romantic relationships. You can use each other as tools to inspire one another. And that is what I've come to find, is if you can find people who have that passionate creative energy that inspire you, and you can't really, you can't even put your finger on it, guys. You can't even understand why. It's more so of like, you guys are so in alignment, or almost your energies are just complementing one another, and it's almost like this dynamic flow effect of like inspiring one another, right? It's almost like, I don't want to say peacocking, but it's not. It's like somebody inspires you to be better. It is a creative, passionate energy, but it's a sexual energy as well too. But it's not like you're, you know, with that person, or it's not even like you want to be with them in that way. But the energy between it is like a dynamic that is for creativeness. It's for manifesting physically. It's not for intimacy. So be careful of that. It can kind of feel like it's supposed to be passion in that way, because I think our primitive minds want it to feel like that. So that was another thing that I've been following, in the happiness and following inspiration. What inspires me? Who makes me feel better? Who is in alignment with my goals? And like, who can I create this circuit with, like plug into their energy field? And it's just this constant flow of like energy, and you'll have different muses for different things. This is kind of getting a little bit off topic, but this is a whole nother video in itself that I'm coming up with. You'll find these things of what inspires you to do better, and a lot of it, if you look at your relationships, you know, what inspires a man, it's the love of the woman. And what is the love of the woman? It is that creative, passionate energy, and this is where we can complement one another. It doesn't have to be male female, like a relationship type thing. But if you have, say, two healers that are on this similar path of like trying to build their business or trying to help the world or whatever, you can inspire one another to be better, and you'll be inspired to create. You know, ideally for myself, I would just like to have my partner be kind of on the same goal level as me, so then we can just continue to inspire one another. So a little off topic, but anyway, I truly feel like what inspires you naturally is what you need to follow. And I know happiness is a sense of joy. It's like this elevation and energy, you know, it is a state of being, and not every time do we find what we feel like is our purpose is going to bring us a state of happiness, but it's finding our way back to how can we get into alignment with that happiness. And it's kind of the same when I was thinking of energy work of like, okay, how can I bring myself back to the happiness, you know, of where for so long I felt like, you know, you turn your passion into your job, and then kind of the mindset shift changes around it, the energy changes around it. So it's kind of like where people are scared to make their passion their job, and then they lose that passion. It no longer becomes about the greater sense of service to something beyond yourself, of serving. It becomes your income. It becomes like serving the algorithm. It becomes, you know what I mean? You get where I'm going with this, and it takes away from the soul. The soul was not meant to do that. And then it comes back to even the simplicities of life, of your own basics, your own basic needs as a human. And that's where I was like asking source, I'm just like, God, why can't I like find, you know, the drive, the will, like this, I know this is for me, and this is something I want to do. And I know next steps in the level of hardness and the blocks I have to overcome, but even seeing myself overcome the blocks, there was still not a level of fulfillment that I thought that I was going to get. It's more along the lines of starting at the basics. The message I got was the body. Starting with yourself and understanding you and fixing whatever it needs to, I guess you want to say. And this might be just my thing too, guys, of if, you know, you're going through an earth-shattering life shift, your foundation is crumbled. My foundation crumbled. There's a level of survival that I'm still trying to master, you know, living by myself, a level of safety I'm trying to provide for myself, that it's very difficult for me to find that energy to be able to find space for others, where I was able to create it before and create all the things that I loved and, you know, fed me. It doesn't hit the same because my energy is now spent on myself trying to keep myself safe, you know. So it's kind of just analyzing what is going on in your current life and giving you what you need and choosing you. And I am in a season of choosing myself right now. And whereas before it was doing energy work with other people, it was providing me with love and excitement and knowledge and wisdom, all these things, all these cool experiences. And now, not to say I won't ever get back there, but Spirit's like, now I have to start almost at the bottom again, and I have to focus on me, just going back to who am I as a human. What would bring me happiness at one point would be just nothing but energy work, being like a teal swan, or like, you know, somebody just constantly going around and helping others or doing talks and things like that. And who knows, one day maybe it'll be there. But right now, if I really want to focus on what I feel like would bring me happiness in the moment to help build me up, it is literally focusing on myself, bettering myself as a person, starting almost from ground zero, because I've literally become a new person and I have to get to know myself all over again of what do I want to create in my life, and nurturing myself. These little things that I'm finding in just mundaneness, it's almost romanticizing my life, and that's bringing me a sense of happiness, whereas before it was almost like I was trying to escape my life, guys. Kind of like now I'm nurturing myself and finding happiness. And don't get me wrong, it's definitely a journey, but it's learning how to love myself, learning how to be happy with me, and just doing human things, building relationships in the spiritual community, outside the spiritual community, and building relationships not as a master teacher, as Andrea. That's where I'm finding the most fulfillment and happiness, and keeping these little thoughts or these little bursts of happiness to myself, not always having to share to feel like I need to uplift others and spread my energy around. I can just naturally be it for those in my field, for those closest to me, and working on relationships that truly matter in my life, like me and my mom. There's something very, very spiritual, guys, about the relationships between you and your parents. When you heal that and you're around one another, it's this energy circuit. The same with the inspiration, but this is even more powerful than the muse. With me and my mom, there is a level of abundance and beauty and something that just, it's spirit that comes in purely. And she feels it too, and we both can't really put our finger on it, but when we're around each other and we're in our natural element, she said it best of, she feels like she's her fullest self, that she's her again. And I feel the same way. I feel home again. I feel this unbelievable sense of love and beauty. Like I love myself unconditionally. It's very weird. I say very weird. It's great, honestly. So that's kind of where I'm starting with finding happiness, and it's really teaching me to be happy just with the little things in life, that we don't have to be, you know, all this that we've built ourselves up to be in our minds. And ultimately all that we've built ourselves up to be in our minds, is it truly what we want? I really feel like if all of us were happy and just doing the little things in life to make us happy and to make others better, and therefore making ourselves better, each and every single one of us doing that would create heaven on earth. We wouldn't need to, you know, feel the need to move masses of people. It's every single one of us showing up every day just for the little people in our lives, or just the handful of like our little social circles. And if we could do that, our world would change. Then we would create heaven on earth. If you take anything away from this video, I would just really check in with yourself on what is truly for you and what isn't, what takes your energy, what adds to you, what thoughts are in alignment with your soul, what aren't. Because ultimately you can have anything you want. You truly can. It's just, do you truly want it? Is all the money in the world going to truly bring you happiness? Is all the fame truly going to bring you happiness? No. If you really sit back and think about it, guys, you know what it's going to bring you? Probably more stress. Why? Because you're going to have to be constantly a certain level of energy to be able to maintain that. And if you look at the really, really successful people, yes, they have systems. They make a lot of money, but guess what? They work a lot too. They're always gone. They probably don't have the greatest family relationships. And as we know from what true happiness is, guys, from the Harvard study, is our relationships. And what is the foundation of your relationships? It's your family. It's what you basically were brought up on. It's the root chakra. You have to have your foundation. Maslow's hierarchy, basically. You have to have it, you know, not necessarily to say if you don't have a mom or dad or whatever, but you can find people that fill those shoes. You know, everyone needs a rock. Don't be too hard on yourselves. Show up as love every single day. You have the power to do so. And we take life way too seriously, guys. We seriously do. And we just show up doing the best we can every single day, bettering ourselves. We don't have to be anything grand or big or anything that we feel like we should be. We should be the hero of our own lives, guys, whatever that looks like for you. Like I said, guys, this is Temple Talks. This is going to be my little series of diaries. If you're here for it, you're here for it. And if you're not, that's okay. So I'm sending you all my light and all my love. What's that, Mom? That was a little country coming out of me. Can you tell it's the Missouri State Fair week? We got the hick in us coming out. It's mud cricket season, y'all. Mud cricket season. If you know, you know.